slippery slopes are rare and way overused, and that's why it's actually considered a fallacy. They warn that one small step will lead to a dramatic chain reaction, but often without evidence. A real slippery slope is like a hill that's covered in ice. You really cannot stop once you start sliding. But a false one is like saying that you can't stand on a wood floor in socks. It's just not a true statement, even though sure, socks are slippery. When it's misused, the person talking is trying to manipulate you with fear. So here's the criteria for determining whether or not what you want to do is actually a slippery slope. First, you need a causal connection. There must be a credible connection leading from one thing to the next. If not, you're making logical leaps that don't track in reality. Secondly, if there's no meaningful stopping point, then it might actually be a slippery slope. If there are natural stopping points, then it's not slippery. Third, you need realistic probability. Sliding from one step to the next has to be reasonably probable. And if not, then you're being ruled by fear. Lastly, you can't be oversimplifying. If your logic is too simple and lacks nuance, then you're being ruled by fear. So watch out for these common mistakes. If there's no evidence of this exact thing happening, then it's not real. But if this happens a lot, you see a lot of people go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 10, then you might be right. It might actually be a slippery slope. But without one concrete example, you're probably wrong. Don't ignore possible interventions. Assuming that legalizing one thing leads to everything being legal just isn't real. It ignores regulation, peer pressure, and cultural influences that could stop the train. If you're relying on fear to illustrate your point rather than actual logical steps, your fear is getting the better of you and your amygdala is ruling over your frontal lobe. And remember, don't conflate correlation with causation. You might see a lot of gardeners that are women, but it doesn't mean that being a woman is the reason you're in the garden.